Hey guys, Scott Butler from Edge Lending Solutions. Hope you're all well. I'm actually coming to you from the beach club at Waive at Fiji, just one of the little beaches here. But what I wanted to speak about was actually if you're one of the buyers who are trying to buy a property at auction terms, how do you get ready for that? Now, auction terms are not easy to buy and actually be successful at. Auction terms say you cannot have a finance clause. They also say you need to put 10% of the purchase price down like 3 days after the hammer drops if you're in default. And you also need to settle, it means the bank needs to pay the seller and everything needs to happen on day 30 after the hammer drops. Now, all those time frames are quite hard to hit. You're relying on a lot of people, you're relying on your finance, Building Pest, valuation for the finance, if you've got finance. You're relying on the bank's lawyers, the sellers, banks, lawyers, exiting bank, and all in the middle of that is a government department called the Titles Office of whatever state you're buying in Australia. So all those things are really hard, and we're talking about business days, and if there's a public holiday in the middle of that, it doesn't matter. Like this is calendar days, 30 days, which is standard auction terms. Really tough to buy it in. So guys, if you are trying to be a player and actually put your hand up at auction, you definitely need a pre-approval. You need to have done your building and pest inspection before you go to the auction. Probably need a really good handle on a valuation. Now, it won't be the bank's valuation or the finance you're going to use, because generally the bank will not pay for the valuation fee unless you show a contract, and you can't show a contract for the valuation unless you've won at auction. See how that works? So that's the problem there. But you've got to have a really good handle on knowing that that valuation is going to come in, and making sure that your broker has picked a lender who can handle those 30 days. Now, not every lender that I would go to would be able to settle in 30 days. Now, there's nothing wrong with them. They can be extremely cheap, extremely great at lending, but they're just so overwhelmed with the business volume, they will not be able to hit that 30 days settlement. And what happens if you don't hit that 30 days settlement? You're in breach of contract. What happens if you're in breach of contract? Worst case scenario is you lose your 10% deposit, the seller sells it to someone else. That's a bad day. That's a really bad day. So you don't want to be that guy. You don't want to be that person. You want to make sure that you've given your broker a huge amount of time to get ready for this. You've got your finance, pre-approvals in place, and we've also chosen lenders who we think or are very confident that can hit that 30-day settlement. Valuations are going to come in, and you've done your building and pest. Then you're a player. Now, if you think about this, if you think about how many moving parts are going to go for that, excuse me, and if you think about how that doesn't sound so simple, it actually eliminates your buyer competition. There'll be some buyers who just go, you know what, I'm not doing auction. I've done it before. It's all too hard. The finance is too hard. I'm not going to do auction. And so you might say to yourself, if my buyer competition is less, does that mean I can make a better deal? And the answer is maybe. But then that goes counter to what the agent's telling me. The agent's telling me, hey, but Scott, we want to put these things to auction. You're going to have all these people fighting over it, and everything's going to be happening like this, and it's going to push it's going to push the price up. This is what they're telling the sellers. You're going to put the price up, and it'll be amazing. We'll get the best price we can get. You know what? Only in really hot markets. I see a lot of benefit for the agent in auction campaigns. The agents get an immense amount of marketing. There's an auctioneer gets an auctioneer's fee. They get to flush out people that buyers at auction who have got pre-approvals. And you know what? The seller's just sick of it at the end of the whole process. That you normally get like an 85% success rate, at least up to 3 weeks after auction. So I expect to see a lot more auction campaigns coming into the market, and not because, well, one is because the market's going to move again, and the agent's probably a bit trying to understand where the level of pricing might just be and test the market a bit. But also, I think they want to get their profiles back up again after we've had a big flat spot in the market too. So for our buyers out there, we may just have to battle through getting our auction, finance ready to get a property at auction. If that's all we got to do, like I said, we've got to make sure we're ready. So anyway, guys, that's enough from me. Look, I don't love being at auctions for sellers. Kind of don't mind them for buyers. As like I said, cuts out your buying competition. So let's have a think about that as well. Right, that's enough. Coming from me, I'm coming to you from the Waive Beach at Fiji. Remember, life is a family sport. Give yours an edge. See you next time.